Adam Sandler. The man who gave us Happy Gilmore, and then spent the rest of his career playing the same shouty man-child in cargo shorts, just with a different hat. He turned fart noises into a business model and hired every friend he's ever had. From tone-deaf comedies to Netflix cash grabs, welcome to the glorious mess that is everything wrong with Adam Sandler. Sorry to interrupt, but Adam Sandler said if you don't subscribe, he's casting your grandma as the villain in Happy Gilmore 2. Thanks. Origins of a goofball. Before Adam was the king of Netflix mediocrity and hoodie-based red carpet rebellion, he was just a weird kid born in Brooklyn and raised in the exotic land of New Hampshire. He wasn't winning drama awards or quoting Shakespeare. He was the class clown who realized early on that you can make money yelling in a baby voice. After high school, he went to NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, which sounds prestigious until you realize he used that education to create Jack and Jill. His stand-up act was a cocktail of goofy songs and fart noises, which, for reasons science still can't explain, got him a gig on Saturday Night Live. There, he cemented his legacy with sketches about lunch ladies, gibberish accents, and characters who sounded like they were dropped on their heads as infants. And somehow, this man-child blueprint worked. America didn't just watch him grow up, they actually paid to watch him never grow up. The Royal Fart Factory. Welcome to the Sandler Cinematic Universe. If you've seen more than 2 Adam Sandler movies, congratulations. You've already experienced 90% of his joke catalog. Whether it's Big Daddy with the classic "you can wipe" moment, or Grown Ups with projectile deer pee, Sandler's humor lives somewhere between a whoopee cushion and a clogged toilet. And let's be real, it's not just in adult movies. Even his family-friendly films come with more bathroom humor than a third-grade sleepover. At some point, it stops being comedic and starts being a medical concern. His scripts are like Mad Libs written by a flatulence-obsessed 10-year-old with no supervision. The worst part? It sells. Studios keep funding it. Audiences keep watching it. And Sandler keeps churning it out like a comedy sewage plant. He's not the king of comedy. He's the janitor of juvenile gags. And judging by box office returns, he's laughing all the way to the bathroom. Gin and juice. There's something weirdly magnetic about Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston's repeated attempts to convince us they're a power duo. If by power duo, you mean 2 people playing the same characters in different exotic hotel rooms every 4 years. From Just Go With It to Murder Mystery and its creatively named sequel, Murder Mystery 2, their films feel like Sandler's elaborate excuse to expense European vacations with a friend he met at a charity golf tournament. The on-screen chemistry is fine, but off-screen, the interviews are full of bizarre giggles, awkward flirting, and Sandler constantly reminding us that Jen is like family, which is the weirdest way to explain casting your co-star in a swimsuit for the 3rd time. Add in press tours where Aniston gently roasts his dress sense while he grins like a dad who just photobombed a prom pic, and you've got a franchise based less on storytelling and more on Sandler's frequent flyer miles. Oscars dress code? Who? Once upon a time, not so long ago. Yeah, talking about 2025. Hollywood's elite gather in $10,000 tuxedos to celebrate the art of cinema. And here comes Adam Sandler.
Adam, what are you wearing?
What are you doing right now?
Dressed like he just rage quit a game of pickup basketball. Hoodie, shorts, sneakers. And just to top off this glorious disaster, he crashes Conan O'Brien's monologue to yell "Chalamet," like a dad trying to go viral on TikTok. Was it a skit? Probably. Was it also painfully awkward and totally on brand for a guy whose movies include scenes of urinating in public? Definitely. Then, in true Sandler style, he storms out of the venue like a moody teenager who didn't get picked for prom king. Some hailed it as comedic rebellion. Others called it what it was, lazy shtick and sweatpants. When asked about the outfit, Sandler essentially shrugged and said, "This is who I am." Yeah, Adam, we noticed. And judging by the photos, so did Timothée Chalamet's eardrum. Ridiculous and racist. Let's talk about the cinematic masterpiece that is The Ridiculous Six. A film so culturally tone-deaf it made 2015 feel like 1955. Native American actors literally walked off the set mid-filming, and honestly, who could blame them? When your character is named Beaver's Breath or No Bra, you've officially entered a territory that even South Park might call too much. Sandler's script took the spaghetti out of Western and replaced it with a steaming pile of cultural insensitivity. This wasn't some rogue indie film made in a basement. It was backed by Netflix and came with a full marketing push, as if the public was just begging for a movie where native heritage is reduced to punchlines about boobs and body odor. The walkout wasn't just symbolic. It was the real-life equivalent of slapping the director with a tomahawk of common sense. The Ridiculous Six wasn't just ridiculous, it was 6 times ridiculous. The pro-Indian defense. So, after The Ridiculous Six was dragged through the cultural mud, how did Adam Sandler respond? With grace? With humility? Nope. He gave us the verbal equivalent of, "I'm not racist, I have a native friend." Sandler brushed off the whole controversy as a misunderstanding, adding that the film was actually pro-Indian. Yeah, because nothing says allyship like naming a character Smoking Fox and making jokes about native women not wearing bras. Critics pointed out that Sandler's statement was the adult version of a kid saying, "It was just a joke," while holding a broken lamp and a guilty face. The entire response felt like a comedian trying to mic drop a punchline that no one laughed at. Instead of reflecting or even pretending to care, he leaned into denial mode like a PR robot set to shrug. And just like that, Sandler proved he could not only offend people, he could gaslight them with a smile. TikTok Gilmore. What do you get when you mix one of the greatest golf comedies of all time with TikTok influencers? Apparently, Happy Gilmore 2. Yep, Sandler decided the best way to follow up his 1996 cult classic was by casting viral stars like KB Lame. Hardcore fans didn't just raise eyebrows, they raised pitchforks. The announcement set social media on fire, with nostalgic viewers accusing Sandler of selling out and chasing Gen Z clout instead of comedy. Sandler defended it as modernizing the sequel, which is Hollywood speak for "please watch this so we can hit our Netflix numbers." What fans wanted was more Shooter McGavin. What they got was discount Addison Rae. If this is how the Sandlerverse evolves, we might be 2 years away from The Waterboy 2, sponsored by Prime Hydration. Happy learned how to putt. Now he needs to learn how to scroll. The Sandler Family Film Fund. You know what's better than making millions from your own movies? Making sure your whole family gets a piece of the pie. Enter Sandler's favorite hobby, casting his wife and daughters in half his Netflix catalog. Whether it's Hubie Halloween, Murder Mystery, or You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, the entire Sandler clan is getting that sweet streaming paycheck. Sure, the nepotism is wrapped in heartwarming family bonding, but let's be honest, it's the Hollywood version of Bring Your Kid to Work Day, except they're paid more than your mortgage. Some critics applauded the chemistry. Others said, hey, maybe let someone else act in these things? But Sandler doesn't care. He's like a dad who bought a movie studio instead of a camcorder. It's less about creating roles for talented newcomers, and more about making sure Thanksgiving dinner comes with residual checks. Hollywood is tough, unless your last name is Sandler. Negate with Claire Foy. What happens when Adam Sandler meets royalty-adjacent actress Claire Foy on a talk show couch? Apparently accidental groping repeatedly. During a 2017 episode of The Graham Norton Show, Sandler kept putting his hand on Foy's knee mid-conversation like he was trying to channel the ghost of awkward uncles past. The internet noticed, and the headlines flew faster than Rob Schneider to a cameo. Sandler fans said, "Oh, he's just touchy." Critics said, "Yeah, that's the problem." Foy later stated she wasn't uncomfortable, which saved the whole thing from becoming a full-blown cancellation. But that doesn't mean it wasn't weird. Watching the footage felt like watching someone slowly realize their dinner guest just wiped their hands on the curtains. Whether it was innocent or clueless, it gave the vibe of a man who's been famous too long to realize the rules have changed. PSA, Adam, Not every talk show needs hands-on improv. Live from nowhere. Adam Sandler, fired from Saturday Night Live. Yep, the guy who gave us Opera Man, Canteen Boy, and the musical stylings of the Hanukkah song, got booted from the sketch show in 1995, right at the height of his popularity. No scandal, no screaming match. Just a good old-fashioned network nah. The firing, along with fellow SNL star Chris Farley, was chalked up to NBC restructuring, which is TV speak for we don't know what funny is anymore. Fans were baffled. Ratings were fine. But apparently, Sandler's signature combo of yelling, weird voices, and fart jokes didn't vibe with executives who wanted a more refined show. Joke's on them. Sandler took his baby voice and made millions. But the abrupt exit still lingers as one of SNL's weirdest breakups. The show ditched a future box office juggernaut, so they could do more sketches about tax accountants. Good call, Lorne. Really nailed that one. Zohan meet lawsuit. Ever wonder how you don't mess with the Zohan was born? According to one angry cartoonist, the answer is theft, with a side of hummus. In 2008, Robert Cable sued Adam Sandler, claiming that Zohan was ripped straight from his comic book character James Blonde. And while the lawsuit eventually got dismissed because parody law is a thing, the stench of unoriginality lingered longer than any falafel joke in that movie. The film itself featured Sandler as an Israeli super spy hairdresser who uses hummus for everything from cooking to, hygiene. So even if the idea wasn't stolen, it sure wasn't subtle. The characters were broad, the accents were cartoonish, and the jokes? Imagine if your cousin who just discovered shawarma tried to write a screenplay. Whether or not Sandler borrowed inspiration, the fact that the film is still used in college classes to explain cultural stereotype overload speaks volumes. You don't mess with Zohan unless you're a copyright lawyer. Double the Sandler, none of the fun. Jack and Jill wasn't just bad, it was historically bad. Like won every single Razzie Award bad. Sandler didn't just phone it in, he speed dialed it collect and then sent a fax to warn us. Playing both Jack, a guy, and Jill, his screeching, flatulent twin sister, Sandler created cinematic proof that one Sandler is already too many. The jokes landed with all the grace of a bowling ball to the shin. There was a Taco Bell endorsement that felt longer than the plot. A baffling subplot with Al Pacino falling in love with Jill. Yes, really. And scenes that made Paul Blart, Mall Cop, look like Oscar bait. It was comedy boiled down to its most desperate form. Cross-dressing, fart gags, and Dunkin' Donuts raps. Audiences were horrified. Critics were in awe of how bad it was. But guess what? The movie made over $149 million worldwide, proving that you can in fact polish a turd at the box office. Grown-ups, dumbed down. You'd think a film starring half the comedians from your high school DVD shelf would be funny, right? Grown-Ups 2 says otherwise. With a script that feels like it was written on the back of a napkin during a keg party, this cinematic ode to flatulence and crotch shots still somehow raked in nearly $250 million. There's no plot, just a chaotic series of disconnected scenes where grown men pee in pools, wrestle deer, and nearly die for a laugh. Sandler plays the same man-child he always does, while his entourage of usual suspects, Kevin James, David Spade, Rob Schneider, actually missing this time, stand around waiting for the next burp or fart cue. It's less a movie and more a summer camp prank reel that accidentally got distributed worldwide. Critics called it a disaster. Audiences said, hey, it's fun background noise. And Sandler? He cashed a check so big, even the jokes about it were more clever than the actual film. 8-bit regret. If you ever wondered what happens when you give Adam Sandler $88 million and access to arcade nostalgia, look no further than Pixels. A movie where aliens attack Earth with 1980s video game characters sounds fun, right? Yeah, until you realize it was just a 90-minute excuse to watch Sandler save the world while looking vaguely annoyed to be there. The plot? Flimsy. The jokes? Limpio. The visual effects? surprisingly cool, which made it even worse when they were wasted on gags about Q-Bert peeing itself. Critics nuked it with a 17% Rotten Tomatoes score, and audiences gave it the slow clap of, well, it wasn't Jack and Jill. Even Peter Dinklage couldn't save it, and he survived Game of Thrones Season 8. In the end, Pixels was a lazy, nostalgia-fueled cash grab that proved not everything from the 80s needs a reboot, especially not when it comes with the side of Kevin James as the president. The Netflix hustle. In 2014, Adam Sandler signed a multi-film deal with Netflix, proving once and for all that streaming platforms don't require quality, just quantity and a famous hoodie. While other actors chase awards, Sandler chased vacation locations thinly disguised as movie sets. Films like The Do-Over, Sandy Wexler, and The Week Of drop faster than your motivation to finish them. Critics called them lazy. Audiences called them watched apparently. Because despite being cinematic melatonin, these movies consistently trended. Netflix even doubled down with another $250 million deal like, hey Adam, here's a blank check. Just remember to hit record. Most looked like they were shot between golf rounds or during lunch breaks. But Sandler didn't care. He leaned into it, delivering dad joke mediocrity straight to your couch. It's not art, it's content. And in today's world, that's all you need. Who needs Oscars when you've got autoplay and passive viewers trying to find something to nap to? Unsnubbed, Unforgiven. In Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler played a manic, gambling-addicted jeweler in a performance so intense, it gave people actual heart palpitations. Critics lost their minds. Audiences screamed, wait, this is the guy from Grown Ups? But when Oscar season rolled around, guess who didn't even get a nomination? Yep, the Academy decided that 2020 was just not the year for sweaty Jewish chaos energy. Sandler, in true Sandler fashion, laughed it off by threatening to make the worst movie ever as revenge. Then promptly delivered Hubie Halloween, because when he makes a threat, he follows through. The snub sparked debate. Does the Academy hate comedic actors? Or were they just blinded by 25 years of Adam shouting in funny voices? Either way, it was a missed opportunity. Uncut Gems was the moment Sandler proved he could act. The Academy responded like a dad watching his kid win a math contest after years of eating glue. Neat, but no. That's my bomb. If you thought Jack and Jill was bad, allow me to introduce you to That's My Boy, a movie that asks, what if statutory rape became a punchline? Yes, really. In this cinematic dumpster fire, Sandler plays Donnie, a washed-up party boy who fathers a child as a teen with his teacher. And we're supposed to laugh. It's like someone dared him to make the most uncomfortable movie possible, and he replied, hold my beer in my Boston accent. The film flopped, critics ran for the hills, and even die-hard Sandler fans quietly backed away like it farted in church. Co-starring Andy Samberg, who still won't talk about it, this movie somehow manages to make incest jokes, underage sex, and body fluids all part of its charm. It's not edgy, it's not clever. It's like someone blended American Pie with a mugshot. And the worst part? This is the movie Sandler made after threatening to make a bad one. 8. Cringy Nights. Adam Sandler decided the world needed a Hanukkah movie. What we got was 8 Crazy Nights, a 2002 animated film that somehow manages to be offensive, depressing, and wildly unfunny all at once. Billed as a holiday musical, it's more like if South Park and A Christmas Carol had an unwanted baby and gave it to Sandler to raise. The main character is a drunk, vandalizing jerk voiced by, you guessed it, Sandler, who also voices a screechy old man and a woman who sounds suspiciously like Jill from Jack and Jill. The jokes? Toilet humor. The message? Lost in a snowdrift of stereotypes and public urination gags. Audiences expecting family-friendly warmth got a steaming pile of frozen reindeer droppings instead. With a Rotten Tomatoes score that could legally be considered a cry for help, the movie tanked both critically and financially. Turns out, the Festival of Lights didn't need Sandler's special brand of animated flatulence after all. Zohan, Homeland Insecurity. If you thought geopolitical conflict couldn't get any dumber, you don't mess with the Zohan said, hold my hummus. In this fever dream of a movie, Sandler plays an Israeli super soldier turned New York hairstylist with magical crotch powers and a love of silky shampoo. Every character, Israeli, Palestinian, or otherwise, is so steeped in cartoonish stereotypes, it's like watching a UN summit written by a sleep-deprived stand-up comic from 1992. The Middle East conflict is boiled down to falafel jokes, accent gags, and people getting slapped with hummus. It's not satire. It's cultural chaos dipped in hair gel. And let's not forget Sandler's accent, which sounds like Borat choking on a pita. Even if you squint and call it parody, there's still the tiny problem of zero nuance and a plot so lazy, it practically sleeps through its own runtime. If peace in the Middle East depended on this movie, we'd all be doomed to eternal haircuts. Forever a fifth grader. When Billy Madison hit theaters in 1995, it introduced us to Adam Sandler's favorite character archetype, the emotionally stunted man-child who yells a lot and wets his pants. Critics rolled their eyes, fans howled with laughter, and thus, the Sandler formula trademark was born. In the film, Sandler plays a grown man who has to repeat every grade of school to inherit his dad's hotel empire, which is somehow both dumb and overcomplicated. The jokes revolve around pudding, poop, and punching kids, and yet it was a hit. Why? Because we were all 12. But here's the problem. Sandler never evolved. This role became the blueprint for decades of grown man acts like toddler comedies. From Big Daddy to Grown Ups, the character barely matured, just changed clothes. If Billy Madison were a real person, he'd still be repeating kindergarten. It's the cinematic version of Arrested Development. And no, not the clever kind with Jason Bateman. The other kind, the Sandler kind. The Sandler friend zone? If there's one thing Adam Sandler loves more than basketball shorts, it's hiring his friends for every movie. Kevin James, Rob Schneider, David Spade. It's like watching the same high school reunion over and over, except with fewer plot lines and more slapstick. Sandler's casting strategy isn't based on talent or diversity. It's basically a group chat come to life. The result? Every movie feels like a vacation slideshow featuring fart jokes, lazy cameos, and the same recycled personalities. Critics have called it loyalty. Others call it creative stagnation. Whatever you call it, it's definitely not fresh. And while most filmmakers use casting to elevate a story, Sandler uses it like a loyalty rewards program. If you've done 5 movies with him, you earn a 6th and a free sandwich. It's like Ocean's 11, but instead of robbing a casino, they rob us of 90 minutes. The only thing riskier than watching a Sandler movie? Not being one of his friends. $20 million per poop joke. Only in Hollywood can a guy make the same movie 37 times and still top Forbes' list of most overpaid actors. That guy? Adam Richard Sandler. Year after year, Sandler raked in 8-figure paychecks for delivering box office bombs dressed up as comedies. Films like That's My Boy and Jack and Jill didn't just flop, they cratered. And yet his bank account ballooned faster than his IMDb list of Razzie nominations. For every dollar he was paid, his movies returned maybe half that, making him the human equivalent of a bad investment. But did he care? Of course not. He just slipped into another oversized t-shirt called Rob Schneider and made the do-over. Critics groaned, audiences shrugged, and Sandler laughed all the way to the Netflix bank vault. He's not just an actor, he's a financial paradox. The only thing more impressive than how bad his movies were is how much people kept paying him to make more of them. The Sweatpants Messiah. If fashion had a reset button, Adam Sandler sat on it, repeatedly. His now iconic Sandlercore aesthetic, think basketball shorts, oversized hoodies, and Costco dad sneakers, has become a meme, a movement, and a mystery to every red carpet photographer alive. While other celebrities are drowning in couture and designer labels, Sandler rolls in looking like he just lost his luggage at the airport. He's worn gym gear to talk shows, cargo shorts to Cannes, and a stained tee to an awards gala. Some call it authentic, others call it a cry for help. Vogue even jokingly labeled him a fashion icon, which is the magazine equivalent of a backhanded compliment. But here's the kicker: people love it. TikTok teens are recreating his outfits like he's the patron saint of not trying. In an industry built on image, Sandler has somehow made anti-style a style. He's not just dressing down, he's dragging the whole dress code with him. Leo the Mediocre Lizard. In 2023, Sandler dropped Leo, an animated Netflix movie where he voices a jaded lizard giving life advice to middle schoolers. The premise sounds cute. The execution? More like Diary of a Wimpy Gecko. Sandler plays Leo, a classroom pet who suddenly develops the ability to talk. And wouldn't you know it, he sounds exactly like every other Sandler character ever, but with scales. The jokes? Dated. The script? A checklist of how do you do fellow kids moments. And while the film had some heartwarming beats, they were drowned in groan-worthy humor and that unmistakable Sandler voice we've all heard since 1995. Critics were split. Some said it was charming, others said it was warmed over lizard stew. And yet, like all Sandler projects, it trended. Because apparently, even a CGI reptile version of Adam Sandler mumbling life lessons in gym shorts is enough to keep Netflix subscribers from canceling. Leo may be cold-blooded, but this movie was lukewarm at best. And there you have it. Adam Sandler, a man who somehow turned yelling, fart jokes, and cargo shorts into a billion-dollar empire. And honestly, we kind of respect the hustle. What do you think of him, and what is your favorite Adam Sandler movie? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.